Alright, another day, another problem. Let's get right into it. Random problem. And what do we have? FizzBuzz. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done FizzBuzz, but everyone knows FizzBuzz. Write a program that outputs the string representation of a number from 1 to n. But for multiples of 3, it should output fizz instead of the number. And for multiples of 5, output buzz. For numbers which are multiples of both 3 and 5, output fizzbuzz. Okay, I was a little confused at first because I saw string representation. I was wondering how am I supposed to print out a string representation like 1, but it's just the number but as a string. So basically we're given a number n, and we want to output an array of strings from 1 to that number n. But by replacing multiples of 3 with fizz, multiples of 5 with buzz, and multiples of both 3 and 5 with fizzbuzz. So since we are going to have to print out every number from 1 to n, that means we're going to have to go through every number from 1 to n. So it looks like this is the best we can do is linear time, theta of n. So, and since we're looking at multiples, I know that we're going to have to use the modular operator. So let's go ahead and think about this. We're going to want to iterate through every number, and we can say if we're just going to have an if statement where if the value, okay, we're going to have to check first if it's a multiple of both, because if we check if it's a multiple of 3 or 5 first, it will hit that, but we won't know that it's a multiple of both. So we're gonna want to, let me just start coding this. First, check if it's a multiple of 3 and 5, then 3, then 5, and if none of those, then we just want to print out the string representation. Or not print out, but add it to the array. So let's first initialize an array. Call it array, and that's going to be an empty string array. Next, we want to set up a for loop to iterate through from 1 for I in 1 to n, including n. We want to do first check if it's a multiple of 3 and 5, so we can do that by saying if I mod 3 has a remainder of 0 and I mod 5. I think we can do this with checking only 1, just because if we check if it's divisible by 3, we check if it's divisible by 5 and it's divisible by both 3 and 5, then it has to be divisible by 3 times 5, which is 15. So I think we can erase that and say if I mod 5 mod 15 equals 0, then we can say array dot append fizz buzz. Okay, and then else if I mod 3 is equal to 0, we can add fizz to the array. Next we do the same for 5. If I is divisible by 5 with no remainder, we add buzz to the array. And if none of these conditions, we want to just have it else add the string representation of I. So we can do that by casting I as a string interpolation right there. And after this for loop runs through, we will just return the array. Let's see. So that should work. I'm wondering. So it's definitely going to be from 1 to n. This is assuming n is never negative. Although could work. But let's go ahead and run this. That should cover FizzBuzz. And I think we're ready to, let's do one more check, run through it, initialize the array, iterate from 1 to n, including n, if it's divisible by, if the number is divisible by 15. I guess we can add, we can name our variables something a little more meaningful than I. It can just be num. And so divisible by 15, then it's both FizzBuzz. Divisible by 3, fizz. 5, buzz. If nothing else, just print out a string representation of the number, and let's submit that. And there we have it. 32 milliseconds and 100% tile. So that was a quick one, but there it is, FizzBuzz, a classic, and I hope you enjoyed. And that's about it. Catch you guys in the next one.